You don't need to understand every word, just listen. Some people listen for the story, others listen for the English. This is a quiet cat story. Take your time with it. Okay, be honest with me. Have you ever said, "This is not our cat," and then somehow found yourself buying cat food a week later? Because the Book of Cats starts right there at that very lie. Not a big decision, not a serious conversation, just a quiet moment when a cat appears and pretends it's no big deal. The cat sits outside the door. He's not crying, he's not asking, he's not doing anything dramatic. He's just there, relaxed, like he has nowhere else to be. And if you live with cats, you already know that this kind of calm is extremely suspicious. The door opens, the cat doesn't move. That's when your brain starts to malfunction. Because normal animals run, but cats wait. He looks up slowly and gives you that blink. You know, the one, not cute, not desperate, just calm enough to feel personal. Someone laughs and says, "Don't look at him, because looking is how they win." Cats don't chase attention. They sit inside it until you fall into it. This one stretches, walks a little closer, and sits down again. Not too close, not too far, exactly the distance that makes you notice. Someone says, "He looks clean." Someone else says, "And wow, he's calm." You might remember this exact moment when a cat stops being just a cat and starts becoming a problem you secretly want, because calm cats don't feel temporary. They feel chosen, the door closes, the cat stays outside, no crying, no drama, just waiting. Like time works for him, then comes the soft sound. Tap, one polite paw against the door. Have you ever heard that and thought, okay, I'm opening it? The door opens a little. The cat doesn't rush in. He looks inside, blinks again, slow and gentle, and suddenly a very dangerous thought appears. Maybe we let him in just for a minute. Every cat person knows. This is how it ends, because no cat has ever stayed for just a minute. The cat walked into the room as if he had already been there before, not curious, not careful, just quietly certain that this space made sense. He did not rush. He did not stop to look around like he was asking permission. He crossed the floor, chose a place near the wall, and sat down without waiting for anyone to tell him where he belonged. That was the first thing. That felt different. Most animals test a new place by reacting to it, by jumping at sounds, by turning their heads too fast, by proving they're alert. This cat tested the room by refusing to react at all. Someone said softly that he looked calm. Someone else answered, half joking, that this kind of calm was usually trouble. The cat opened one eye, just enough to check whether the conversation mattered, and then closed it again. Life continued around him. A cup was placed on the table, a chair moved slightly, footsteps passed behind him. The cat stayed where he was, breathing slow, as if the room had already passed whatever test he needed. That made people careful when an animal does not flinch. Humans start adjusting instead. Someone sat down nearby, slowly, trying not to disturb whatever fragile agreement seemed to be forming. The cat shifted his weight, just enough for his side to touch the edge of a shoe. It was not dramatic, it was not bold, but it was intentional. No one moved their foot away. Moments like this rarely announce themselves. They happen in silence, when nobody is making a decision, and that is exactly why they matter. A hand reached out, then stopped halfway if you touch him, someone said, smiling. He'll never leave. Everyone laughed because it sounded like a joke and also like a warning. The cat lifted his head, looked not at the person but directly at the hand, and leaned forward just enough to brush it once. That was all he gave. Then he pulled back, settled again, and behaved as if nothing important had happened. But the room felt different. Something invisible had shifted its weight. He trusts us, someone said, or he understands us, someone else replied. Those are not the same thing, and everyone felt the difference. The cat stood up again and walked deeper into the house, past the place where guests usually stop, past the quiet boundary that most animals respect. No one stopped him. That was the second thing that mattered. He explored without hurry, sniffing corners, pausing at a window, watching something outside with a tail movement full of opinion. Someone laughed and said he was judging. The cat turned his head, blinked slowly, and looked away. If you know cats, you know what that blink means. If you don't, you still feel it. It means he is not afraid. It means he is not leaving. A small sigh moved through the room, the kind that sounds like giving in before anyone admits it. We'll let him stay just for tonight, someone said, already knowing how untrue that sounded. The cat lay down, not near the door, not at the edge, right in the middle of the room, as if location itself were a statement. No one argued by then. The decision had already been made, not out loud, but together. If a cat has ever entered your life this quietly, you know exactly what this means. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, you still recognize the feeling. Because the cat had not come inside to visit, he had come to stay, and the house, without realizing when it happened, had already said yes. The cat didn't just walk in. He claimed the room, he jumped on the couch, stretched like he owned it, and scanned the place slowly. With that "this is mine" vibe. You know that moment, right? When you think, okay, he's running the house now. He sniffed the table, paused, then stared at your coffee. Not because he wanted it, but because he wanted you to notice. You've had that mini panic when your cat sits on the counter and you can't move him. Dinner's ready, you set the plate. He walks by, waits a beat, then sits exactly where your foot was. You step around him. Careful. Quiet, because cats expect respect. No debate. He hops to the windowsill, watches the street, tail flicking like a tiny dictator. You laugh and worry at once. He's already planning how your life should look. If you've seen this, you know the truth. The cat didn't move into your home. Your home rearranged itself around him. Someone tried to close the door. He plopped down in front of it, silent, patient, immovable. You moved the chair instead. Come on, admit it. You've done that. We all have. By evening, he'd found the warmest spot, the fluffiest pillow, the best light for dozing. You tried to sit there anyway. He looked at you. You backed off. That's the subtle power move. No yelling, no fight, just quiet occupation. He wins without trying. Your routine shifts. Small things change, like where you sit, where you set your keys, which blanket is his. The house starts working for him. Someone whispers, "So he's staying, right?" The answer is obvious. It's not a choice. It's just accepted love. Night comes. He curls up, tiny paws twitching, slow breath, total trust. You watch him sleep, and your heart melts. That's the moment you realize this is not about owning a pet. It's about being chosen. He chose you by doing nothing dramatic, just calm, steady presence. And you let him, you made space. You gave him permission, and just like that, your house is different. Your schedule, your couch, your lap hall have a new VIP. You didn't plan it, you didn't sign up, but you're okay with it because this is how love happens with cats. Slow, quiet, full of small, impossible wins. This is exactly how cat love starts. Not with a big decision, not a rescue montage. It starts with permission. You allow him in. He allows you in, too slowly with a blink. Before you know it, your routine shifts. Your house isn't just yours anymore. It's shared with a tiny, calm roommate who chose you. And honestly, that's the best part, right?